សូមអញ្ជើញអង្គុយចុះ please sit down.
The President, the court is now in session. Next, we would like Judge Lavenge to continue putting more questions to the witness.
Judge Laverne. Can the witnesses hear me? Do you hear me? Can the witness hear me? Do you have problems hearing? And do you have problems seeing? This morning it seemed that you had a bit of trouble seeing around you. Has it been a long time that you have these difficulties?
The witness, actually, I have not been able to see for a long time already.
Est-ce que lorsque vous...
Judge Laverne, when you were detained at M13, did you also have problems seeing?
The witness, when I was detained at M13, I was still young because it was in 1973.
Donc, à cette époque-là...
So, Judge Laverne, so back then you had good eyesight?
The witness, yes, I could see my eyesight were good because I was still young at my early 40s.
Judge Laverne, did you go to school? Did you receive any kind of formal education? Do you know how to read and write, and do you know how to count?
The witness, I can read Khmer a little. I did not go far in school because I am rather illiterate.
Est-ce que vous savez compter?
Judge Laverne, do you know how to count?
The witness, I can count.
Alors, ce matin,
Judge Laverne, so this morning we spoke about the prisoners who were at M13. You spoke to me about soldiers, and you told me that these were Khmer Rouge soldiers. And you told me that these Khmer Rouge soldiers had been defeated during a battle with the Republican Army. Is that what you said? Is that true? Is that what you wanted to say?
The witness, I have learned this information only from the victims who were having a bath with me, and I tried to ask them, and they told me that they were defeated from the battle and were later on arrested and sent to 13.
Judge Lavergne, what kind of clothes were these people wearing?
The witness. They wore civilian clothes, not the pure black clothes.
Judge Lavergne, I did not understand. Were they wearing black clothes or not?
They wore civilians' clothes. I mean, just casual clothes with color or with flowers. When they were arrested and detained at 13, and when we were let out to have a bath, then I heard from them about their defeat in the battle. I just learned from the victims themselves.
Judge Lavergne, you also told us this morning that you were detained in a pit. Could you please describe more in detail? Could you describe this pit more in detail? Were there specific problems with this pit or not?
The witness. The pit was 3 meters deep, and I was detained for long, and we did not have a mat to sleep on. We slept with our back on the soil. When we would like to relieve ourselves, then we would be allowed to climb out of the pit through a ladder, and our shackles, our ankles were still shackles.
Judge Lavergne, how many people were there in each pit?
The witness. In each pit, I can estimate that I may only give you my estimation. There were about 20 to 30 people in each pit.
Judge Lavergne, and how many pits were there?
The witness. I don't remember. There were probably 6 to 7 pits.
Judge Lavergne, were all the pits of the same size, or were you in the largest pit or the smallest? Can you give me some details about this, please?
The witness. I guess the pits were of the same size.
Donc, vous avez dit...
Judge Lavergne, so you told me that you were shackled. Could you tell me specifically how you were shackled?
The witness, my ankles were shackled and there was a metal bar with rings and my ankles were attached to that rings. Those rings. In one metal bar, 5 detainees were attached.
Judge Lavergne, were there problems when it rained?
The witness, when it rained, we got soaked because the roof, because the rain leaked from the roof.
Judge Lavergne, did you experience any flooding in the pits?
The witness, when I was detained, I was not affected by that. We got soaked wet and we could change our clothes there in the pit.
Vous aviez la...
Judge Lavergne, so you had the possibility to change clothes? Is that so?
The witness. I did not have any pairs of clothes to change, but we only had the clothes that we were given when we were arrested.
Judge Lavergne, were certain detainees only in their underwear, or did some of them, or all of them, have clothes?
With the witness, I think I could see that every detainee did not have any new clothes to change, and some detainees were tied next to the pole, each pole naked.
Entièrement.
Judge Lavergne, completely naked?
The witness, when they were arrested, they were wearing clothes, but when they were tied to the poles, when each pole was, when each of them was tied to the pole, they were naked because their clothes were stripped up.
Judge Lavergne, did you see any prisoners who were ill?
The detainees, most of them were sick because we were given only a paddle of gruel. So many died of starvation.
Judge Lavergne, how often were you fed every day and what did you eat?
The witness. Every day in the morning we were given a ladle of rice, of gruel, and we were not given enough food. Many died. I could survive, and I had been detained there until between October or November. In November, Duch released me and sent me to Posat province in 1974, and I had lived in Posat and had no idea of what going on in 13. I only knew the situation when I was detained at the 13.
Judge Lavergne, do you remember being interviewed by investigators from the court? Do you remember investigators interviewing you from the court?
The witness, yes, I remember.
Dans le dossier, nous avons un...
Judge Lavergne, in the case file, we have a written record of your interview, indexed 78 on page 3. In the French version, at least, ERN 00195537. And you said, more in particular, the prisoners who died because of starvation were more numerous than those who died because of torture. Each day, there were about 10 to 15 prisoners who died because of starvation. Can you confirm what I just read? Does that correspond to what you said to the investigators?
The witness, yes, it's true. Detainees who died of starvation were from 10 to 15 people each day, and detainees who were tortured to death, I only saw that 4 to 5 people were tied to the poles. So those 4 detainees were attached or tied to the 4 poles, and with one pole in the middle, when another detainee was tied to that pole, that person in the middle.
Donc, vous confirmez qu'il y a...
Judge Lavergne, so you confirm that every day there was a high number of prisoners who would die of starvation.
The witness, many detainees died every day. At least no less than 2 to 3 people died each day, and sometimes 10 to 15 people died each day. But regarding the torturing, I only witnessed 2 detainees who were shot to death. And as a detainee, I could not see much, because that incidents that I could see only when I encountered it accidentally.
Judge Lavergne, So you explained to us earlier on that you were arrested and then put into a pit where you stayed, and then you were allowed to go out of the pit during the day. You were not shackled during the day?
The witness. When I was let out to clean the place and asked to work, I was not shackled, but later on, they even unchained me completely.
Judge Lavergne, what kind of work did you have to do?
The witness. When I was let out, I was asked to dig the pits and also carried the timber to make a shelter to protect the pits, the detainees from bombing.
À quoi?
Judge Lavergne, what was the purpose of the pits that you would dig? What were they used for?
The witness. The pits were dug to be used as the trenches to protect us from being bombing. And after I was no longer chained, then I was asked to dig more pits.
Judge Lavergne, did you see these pits being used to put prisoners in them, or did you see these pits used for any other purpose?
The witness. The pits were dug to hold prisoners, and also some pits were used as trenches. Then they used big timbers to protect the pits, which were used as trenches to protect it from bombing.
You explained to us earlier on that you saw people tied up to poles, and I understand there were 4 persons attached, chained up or attached, tied up to these poles. Is it correct? 4 persons attached to these poles?
The witness. I responded that it was not done correctly. It was a cruel act, the killing, the arbitrary killing on their own Khmer people. The other nations, they love their own people. But for us, the Khmer people, they mistreated their own Khmer people. It's worse than animals. That was my opinion.
Donc,
Judge Lavergne, can you confirm to me that there were 4 persons attached to these poles?
The witness. Let me confirm that they were tied to the post. 5 people were tied to the post, 1 was shot. So only 4 were still tied to the post. The person in the middle was shot. So only the 2 on each side looked upon the one in the middle who was shot. That's what I saw.
Judge Lavergne, how was this person killed? Was he shot dead? And possibly, would you know who used the gun to shoot him dead?
The witness. The person who shot was called Ta Chan. He had leprosy. He shot the person, and I saw him shooting the prisoner on 2 separate occasions. I saw these 2 incidents with my own eyes.
Quel âge?
How old was the person who shot the gun?
The witness. Duch called Ta Chan as brother Chan, but I did not know his exact age.
Est-ce que c'était un enfant?
Was this person a child?
The witness. No, he was quite old. At that time, he was probably around 45 years old or above, because he already had adult daughter and son.
On what part of the victim's body did he shoot?
The witness. He shot the head of the person. I was the prisoner at that time. When I was sweeping the dust, I also cleansed the brain and the blood which was spattered.
Was Duch present? Did you see him order anything?
The witness. No, I did not see him there. I only saw that Chan who came out and did the shooting. I did not know where Duch was at the time.
Judge Lavergne, did you see any other prisoners being abused, being the victims of violence, of particular types of violence?
The witness. Yes, I did. I saw the prisoners were beaten with the hoe, with the stick, and I was asked to sweep the place, to dig the pits for them, and because they were afraid, so I dug the pits for them. After they killed those people, then they were buried.
Consequently, you have seen prisoners being beaten. They were beaten with what?
The witness. The prisoners were beaten with bamboo stick and a hoe, the head of the hoes.
Est-ce que vous pouvez nous répéter?
Can you repeat once again, please, the instruments with which they were hit? I've heard sticks, tubes or pipes, and hose.
They were bitten with the heads of the holes, just what I saw with my eyes, because I was the one who dug the pits as they ordered. While I was sweeping the ground, I was asked to dig the pit. It was about the burial site was almost close to the office, and sometimes we saw the dogs carrying away the bones and the skulls to the kitchen, because I saw these things when I swept the ground. The burial site was almost surround the office. And they used the same prisoners to do all these things. I myself, I would estimate it at least 200 to 300 of those dead prisoners to be buried.
Est-ce que vous
Judge Lavergne, have you seen other forms of violence being used? In particular, did you see prisoners being put in water, immersed in water?
Yes, I did, says the witness. Prisoners were held, their legs and their arms were tied, and then they were submerged into the Tropang Chara pond, and then they lifted them up and interrogated them. I was afraid, so I only watched it for a short time, and then I left. That's what I saw, this mistreatment.
Judge Lavergne, was Duch, the accused, present at the time when prisoners immersed in water would then be interrogated? Was Duch present?
The witness, no, he was not there. The interrogator's name was Mies, who the one who ill-treated the prisoners. I knew him clearly. He was working closely with the Duch, but I did not see the Duch at the time. He was working in his office.
Judge Lavergne, did you ever see Duch participate or be present when there were scenes of violence? Have you ever seen Duch hit people, beat people, strike people?
The witness, yes, I did. One day I saw him beating a female person with a whip. It's about the size of the whip was about the size of the thumb. After a while, then the young guards came and beat the girl, beat the woman. After she became unconscious, Duch slapped his butt and he laughed. He slapped his butt and he laughed because the girl was having seizure on the ground.
Judge Lavergne, so Duch was laughing as he saw this woman suffering. Is this what you're telling us?
The witness,
Est-ce que vous avez compris ma question?
Did you understand my question? Was Duch laughing as he was seeing this woman suffering?
est-ce que Duch a ri parce que cette femme souffrait?
Was Duch laughing because this woman was suffering?
The witness, yes, Duch was laughing at the time.
Vous nous avez
You have talked to us about people who died, who passed away. You have talked about corpses. Have you yourself taken part in the burial of corpses, in the placing of corpses underground or in pits?